Well, hello there. Welcome back. I'm so excited to continue on with this journey. Let me take you back in time. There was a day that I absolutely loved to meet with everyone. I could not wait. Like networking, connecting was, hope this doesn't sound the wrong way, but it was almost like a drug to me. Like I just loved meeting new people, getting their business card, finding out who they knew, who I could connect them with, learning about their role, learning about their company. I loved it. And a lot of times from those, meetings where you get the card and you email them later, I would get a coffee set up or a call or a lunch appointment. And 98% of the time, 99% of the time, I would go into those meetings and I would totally wing it. Like I knew that I wanted to lay the foundation, plant some seeds, eventually get them to sign as a client, but I had no plan, no plan of attack. And the reality is uh, winging it is not a strategy. And this whole module is about the 7-step clients framework, and it gives you a strategy. I love the research in the Journal of Business Research. Structured conversations actually help professionals increase clarity, reduce anxiety for the client, and build consistency and credibility across the meetings. So, in the course of the next few chapters of the playbook and these modules, or in the playlist if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see that developing a plan is pretty darn important. A couple weeks ago, a friend invited me to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice. And it was really exciting. It was military day. He's in the military, so I got to go with him. It was a great experience. I absolutely loved it. But I'm a baseball guy. I grew up playing baseball. I watched baseball. I went to every baseball game I could. I played in high school. I worshipped and adored baseball. I love all the rules. If it wasn't for a bad back, I would be a full-time little league umpire. Like I love baseball. I coached little league for 10 years. I coached at the high school level, at the junior high level. I love baseball. If I panned the camera into that corner, you would see all of my baseball photos. I love it. And I live outside of Tampa, so I get to go to all these spring training games. Anyways, I know baseball practice. I don't know anything about football practice. And I went to this football practice and it was like the most mind blowing few hours. I mean, partly because, it's Tampa in August. So it's, just incredibly hot. We're sweating like crazy, but we're all sitting on these bleachers and simultaneously there are like 18 things going on at this morning practice. And the coaches come in with such a structured plan, yet so often in our businesses, the most important area, the most important part, our client conversations, we don't have any plan for them. And why is that? You can't be like the young me who, in the very beginning of my career, just loved to network, but then never had a plan for what I was going to say next. We've got to change that. And a structured, repeatable approach to client conversations builds trust, unlocks insight, and leads to organic and sustainable referrals. We're going to talk about the referral flywheel, this entire playbook, this entire course, this entire YouTube playlist. But these early stages, we're just building the foundation. We talked about the Great Wall of China in a module. We talked about how you and I can build a wall in between each of us and our clients with some of these unhealthy. But go back to the Great Wall for a second. Have you thought about what it took to build that? How to lay that foundation? I love to watch History Channel, and so I watch different, documentaries on how they build things. And the foundation is of utmost importance. And this chapter is of the utmost importance because we're going to build the foundation on how we can get to all of those incredible communication strategies. And so let me go to the PDF. Again, this is in your playbook. If you're in the client communication masterclass series video course in the module, it is just down below. You can print it out. I put the free version of it in the YouTube, and you can check that out. But here it is. This is the client's framework. And right away, it just gives you the 7-step client conversation framework. We want to turn surface level conversations into transformational relationships. Wow. Like that's a giant goal right from the outset. Like we want to be able to take just a chit chat, right? You're at a conference, you're at a chamber event, you're at the Rotary event. Somebody invited you to BNI or you're a member of BNI. Whatever mastermind or group or function or whatever you're at and you're meeting people. And then all of a sudden, you guys are exchanging cards or you're tapping phones or however you do it in 2025. This is the framework to turn that surface level conversation into a transformational relationship. This is how incredibly powerful. So again, it's an acronym. Client starts with the C. You got to connect before the call. And so we want to establish trust before the meeting. I'll go through these and then we'll break them down. L, you got to listen beyond the obvious. You got to listen beyond the obvious. You got to discover their true needs. I, you got to invite the story. You got to ask great questions that reveal their world. Oh, we're going to talk a lot about questions. E, you're going to engage with empathy. Listen to understand, not just reply. N, name the right solution. You got to deliver tailored, emotionally compelling value. T, you got to talk through the concerns. Got to handle objections with confidence and care. S, you got to strengthen the relationship. Turn clients into advocates and referrers. And so now we go into the deeper version of this. And here's the reality. This should not put pressure on you. This framework, what it should do is lighten your shoulders because you're going into those conversations. You're going into those client meetings with a plan. So connect before the call. I love this quote by Dr. Brene Brown. Trust is built in very small moments. Clients decide within 7 seconds whether they trust you, and they start forming impressions long before your first meeting. So personalize your outreach. If you set up the meeting, do something to stick out. Yeah, sometimes it feels goofy, but you got to lose the goofy feelings. Send a welcome video over text. Like just pick up your phone. I mean, just as simple as this. Pick up your phone, turn on around the camera and just say, "Hey, Mike, I cannot wait to meet with you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We'll see you again at Panera Bread." And then send it. I mean, yes, it may seem like, okay, does this really matter? But those kind of things help you stick out. Or you could do a video that says, "Hey, Mike, at the event we were talking about Mustangs. Look, I saw this Mustang and I thought of you," and then show them the Mustang. Powerful things. So send a handwritten note before the meeting. Do those kind of things. Audit your online presence. Does it scream trust? When they look you up on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, whatever you're on, whatever, I think I named them all. Share a value first resource. Is there something that you have in your playbook that, could help them? 5 ways to invest for the future or whatever it is. So your challenge after this, the first part is to audit your digital footprint. Does it reflect a professional they trust with their life's savings? I met a financial professional 3 months ago. I'm not throwing you under the bus here. I won't give your name, won't give the company you work for, but I asked them, I won't even say if it was a woman or a man. I asked them, who are you on LinkedIn? Because I opened up LinkedIn. I said, let's connect. And they said, I'm not on LinkedIn. Oh my goodness. Like, I had to turn off the PDF for a second because, like, you should be in shock. I should be in shock. In 2025, leader, you have to be on LinkedIn. You have to be on LinkedIn. You have to build your brand on LinkedIn. I'm actually doing a webinar with Rob Miles from Truist about this in a few weeks. This is recorded in August. This will happen the first week of September. You'll be able to find that on my YouTube channel. But you got to audit your online presence. Okay, let's keep going through these. L, listen beyond the obvious. Listen beyond the obvious. These are incredibly important. You've got to do absolutely everything you can. And listen for the things that aren't being said. Uncover their real needs, not just their words. I love this quote by Stephen R. Covey, the great Stephen R. Covey. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Whew, especially among high net worth clients, 54% leave their advisor because they felt like their needs weren't being listened to. That's a stat to remember. So, we're going to get to the 7 layers of the client story. So, you just got to keep asking why 5 to 7 times and get ready for that. That's coming up. You got to listen for emotional drivers like fear or legacy or security. You got to ask, what does financial peace look like to you? And in the back of your playbook, and we're going to get to more questions, but in the back for sure, there is a chapter that has 70 of the best questions to ask based on the 7 layers of a client story. What a great resource. Yes, I'm bragging a little bit, but we made it for you. So here's the challenge. Track how often you paraphrase a client's emotional need. No reflection means no connection. Okay, so here's the reality. They're going to pick up if you're not listening and you're just doing the uh-huh, mm-hmm, uh-huh, mm-hmm. Here's a hint. See this is a piece of pen, and in front of me is a piece of paper. There are incredible studies that show that when you're in a client relationship and you actually write in front of them, you're actually writing down what they say, not typing it on your phone, not on your iPad. And I get there's probably a point in the client story where you need to do those things. You need to have the iPad out, you need to have the computer out. But if you actually write, it builds listening trust in their brain. So powerful. Do absolutely everything you can to be able to reflect and then repeat back to them. We're going to get in the later chapters. We're going to talk more about this, but right now we're just laying the foundation. Okay, let's go to I. Invite the story. Story is everything. The human brain longs for story. There's a reason why all of us stream billions of minutes of Netflix and Hulu and Apple TV and whatever it is you stream, Peacock, YouTube, whatever it is. I love this quote by Thomas Berger. The art and science of asking questions is the source of all knowledge. Don Connolly emphasizes that open-ended questions are the gateway to meaningful conversations. They are crucial ingredients to making a personal connection. So here's the reality. Stop asking boring questions. Use questions like, what led you here? What would success look like in 6 months, in 6 years? Follow up with, what else? Can you expand on that? Mirror their keywords to build rapport and deep listening. So here's the challenge. Create 5 open-ended story inviting questions to use consistently in discovery meetings. To use consistently. And later, we're actually going to give you a client meeting prep card and you're going to write those down. So you're going to actually print it out. You're going to be able to prepare. You're going to think through those questions. You're going to have them locked and loaded. So when you sit down, you're going to disrupt their thinking with questions. You don't want to disrupt their thinking with random things. Like you don't want to just start talking about a mushroom farm unless it has an absolute point, but you're going to have those questions ready. It's just powerful, just powerful. That's how important the story is. Okay, let's keep moving on. You're going to engage with empathy. You're going to listen to understand, not just to respond. Okay. So I love this Daniel Goleman, the great Daniel Goleman. If you've never read Primal Leadership, you've got to read this book. Empathy is the engine of connection. The top reason clients switch advisors is in poor investment decisions. It's that advisors aren't responsive enough. Emotional intelligence skills, such as active listening, empathy, effective communication are critical in preventing this client attrition. So important. Some actions. Use the pause, repeat, confirm method. Pause, repeat, confirm. So what I'm hearing is that right? So pause, repeat, confirm. Embrace the silence. It signals thoughtfulness, not indecision. And you don't have to look away for, 70 seconds. You don't have to look away in your brain account, but just give it a pause. And then watch for body language cues. If they're antsy, they're wanting to get out of there. So you've got to figure out a way to keep them engaged. And so the challenge this week is to record a mock conversation. Count the interruptions. Fewer words equals deeper trust. You don't have to talk all the time. I know this is so difficult. And I'm with you. I'm a talker. And we're going to look at it later in the playbook, but you really want to think about listening upwards of 80% of your conversation. and talking 20%. Just huge. Let's keep going. And name the right solution. You want to deliver tailored solutions that speak to both emotion and logic. Great Simon Sinek. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Why you do it. Emotions drive 80% of the choices Americans make, while practicality and objectivity only represent about 20. So present solutions using their own language, their own emotional pain points. You yourself said, I want to use your exact words, but you said it this way. Use before and after visuals, analogies, mini case studies. Talk about other clients you've seen who came in and, they've got a plan together and what's happened to them in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And then name the cost of inaction. They got to know what happens if nothing changes. Hey, I'm sharing so you know, if nothing happens, if you keep going on this course, you're going to be ... whatever it is. So here's the challenge. Start keeping a swipe file of emotionally resonant client phrases and use them. Okay. This is huge. This is huge. Just like I'm going to challenge you in later months to keep a story bank. Now you're going to keep some phrases that you're just going to keep so you have them and you're ready for them. Okay. Let's keep going. T, you talk through the concerns. You're going to handle the objections with confidence and care. You're there because you are both wealth expert and people expert. Okay. You can't just be one or the other. You've got to have both. And so you've got to be able to talk through those concerns. John Gordon, the great John Gordon, says, compliment is a gift, shows that your client is still invested. Vast majority of objections aren't about price. They're signals of uncertainty, perceived value gaps, or lack confidence. So acknowledge them empathetically. Ask what would make you feel like a confident next step. Respond with some testimonials or some case studies. And the challenge would be to build a top 5 objections playbook with responses that show understanding. Be prepared for the objections. Be prepared. Not with like a salesy one-liner, not with like a cheesy one-liner, but with something that brings value and wisdom. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done. Strengthen the relationship. Turn clients into advocates and referral champions. Oh, Walt Disney. Do what you do so well that people can't resist telling others about you. I mean, that's it. That's it, right, friends? I mean, that's it. That's what we've got to be able to do. We have got to be able to do what we do so incredibly well that people can't wait. People can't wait. According to a 2018 Texas University study, 83% of satisfied clients willing to refer, yet only 29% do. Add some personal touches, handwritten notes, depending on what you're allowed to do, gifts, books, videos, those kind of things. Teach referral language. If someone says, I don't know if my money's working, send them my way. Teach them, set them up like that. Ask for referrals after emotional wins or plan completions. And so again, here's, more information in this framework for you to be able to go through and, have this. And so whether you're going through this just by yourself or as a team, this is an incredible exercise to walk through. And if you're watching this as a manager, go to the store, speakpeople.com/store. There's actually some manager guides that you can have some exercises based around this conversation playbook. That's really what this is. And so the reality is, all those meetings I went into with absolutely no plan, did some work out in my way? Sure. Because especially in my 20s, my 30s, my early 30s, I was super charismatic, super extroverted. I could sit down, I could get the things going, get it ready, all that kind of stuff. But as you age, as you figure out how to really know people, how do you figure out how to truly be obsessed with your client's success? You got to take a step back and you got to have a plan. You got to stop winging it. And you've got to go into each client meeting with a plan. So if you're going through the playbook, make sure you do the chapter wrap up and put that into practice. If you're going through the Client Communication Masterclass series, everything is in this module. Click that it's done so we can see it in the dashboard. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you share it. Share this. You can share this video actually on your social, whatever it's, if it's LinkedIn, if it's Facebook. And like I've talked about before, you have my email, you have my phone number, you have my LinkedIn. Connect with me at all three of those. Let me know. I would love for you to email me right now, jason@speakwithpeople.com. Let me know which one, C.L.I.E.N.T.S, is the most difficult for you. Most difficult for you. And I want to remind you about Insights. This is our brand new newsletter. It's the client growth, referral, and retention report. So if you're passionate about caring for, managing, serving, helping, and being obsessed with your client success, you got to subscribe to Insights, especially because it is such a low subscription rate right now. Okay, I'm excited. I'm here for your success. Let me know how I can help. I can't wait, and we'll see you in the next module.